Well, this is Bear Down, part of the Coach Steve show, and the Bears lose to the Vikings 30-27 in overtime. And I want to tell everybody something. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And that's who the Bears are. That's who Matt Eberflus is. This game was ugly. This game was there for the taking. It was ugly from the Bears. Decision-making from the Vikings was questionable. It
very,
was
there. Very freaking questionable. Good God.
And I think this is me and Zach's breaking point of the Bears. We're not leaving the Bears, but this if we weren't pissed before, this is it. This is it right here, where the Vikings are not the Lions. The Vikings are not Kansas City. The Bears should have. It was there for the Bears. Credit to the Vikings for overcoming bad offensive play calls, for overcoming giving up an onside kick, for overcoming some things. You got to give them credit, but God bless it. This game did not go the way we thought. It was black and blue. It was tough, but everything I thought that the defense would do did not do it. And good Lord, I don't even know where to start. All watching the game, I had in my mind what to talk about, and there's a shitload to talk about.
Got options. And let me be very clear, just to get this out of the way, as Steve clearly knows, and I'm not sure if my folks watch this show or not, but I told him straight up, I'm not watching the game after they basically got that onside kick recovery and moved on. And you're probably thinking, well, why, Zach? Why are you doing that? And I'm like, well, here's the deal. I have lost my mind. I'm officially at the point where I can't enjoy anything about this, because what happens is, in my head, I know the mental gymnastics of the McCaskies, where they will find a way to retain a shitty head coach if they have any evidence to do so. And I want the Bears to win, but then I sit here and go, what are the ramifications of said win? What happens if the Bears walk away against Minnesota after a fantastic offensive performance? Which, by the way, Thomas Brown, the only one that should get flowers today are Thomas Brown for his setup and that offensive unit for the most part with Caleb Williams. I'm going to put that straight out there. Thomas Brown should get the flowers, not Matt Eberflus. And the problem is where that lies. If they win, and I want them to win still, but think about the long term. If they would have won today, the conversation becomes this on Monday morning. Well, the Bears were just missing an offensive coordinator. We've got our team. That was it. It was just Luke Getsy and Shane Waldron. It wasn't Matt Eberflus. Wrong, people. It's always been freaking Matt Eberflus. This is why I get drove nuts by you folks on freaking Twitter and social media that try and pretend. It's not that hard. That's why I want this to be over with. Cut the freaking fat. If you want to interview Thomas Brown or see if you keep him on, by all means. I think that this game proved it after what they were able to do. The defense was main. It's funny. The defense and special teams were the main problems today. That's what was so deflating. Thomas Brown and Caleb Williams and that offense in the passing game, mostly in particular, did their job. They did an expert job at attacking Brian Flores and keeping pressure off the young quarterback. And Caleb got better as the game went on. 340 yards, multiple touchdowns. It was fantastic. One of the best web gem plays I've seen all season that will be on the top list of plays to end the year. Caleb Williams to DeAndre Swift down the sideline first half. It's fantastic. But you know what's going to happen? And I know this fan base too well. They walk away with a win. Everything's fine. No firings. No removing of a bad person in that personnel department. Just keep status freaking quo. And we can't do that. Not anymore. I'm not settling for that anymore. I'm not settling that anymore. I'm sorry. That's the thing.
I agree with everything you said. That's what Bears Twitter and fandom would do, and the media, ESPN, Fox Sports, they would find a way to say that. It is our job to keep the pressure on. This is like election where people kept tweeting about Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. We need to keep it out there to say we got to get rid of them. If we win another game this year, which as it looks we won't, we've got to keep it out there that he needs to go. It's time. And everybody knows I don't like firing coaches because I know what goes into it. But it's the NFL. It's not high school. It's not college. It's the NFL. And if you need, even if they won today, there was multiple reasons why you got to get rid of him. We are undisciplined. We are not disciplined. We jumped off sides near the end of the first quarter when you knew they were going to hard count and we jump off sides. 3 people jump off sides. We get a good drive, we jump. Special teams. You let a punt kick you when you're yelling poison, poison, poison to get away and you let it hit you. We got another freaking field goal blocked, and it looked exactly the same as it did versus the Packers.
Special teams, that was fucking metronome today. Because special teams giveth and somehow taketh away, by the way. Somehow.
I mean, the only 2 special teams that looked really good was when Carter had the long kick return and then the onside kick. Those were the 2 things. But when you look at the whole game, what big turning moments? That punt hitting his leg for the Vikings to come down and score, that was huge. The blocked field goal, that took a lot away momentum. You have PTSD from it. And did you notice the field goal that I don't know if you watched the field goal we did have to make to get in overtime, was in the middle to the right hash, and he makes it. It just hits different. When you watch him kick extra points, it's from the right hash. That field goal that got blocked was on the left hash again because of the angle, and they knew where to attack. So as a head freaking coach, you should have saw that last week. You go into that special teams room and say, Hightower, you got to fix this or I'm fixing it. You got a decision. And during practice, I don't care if you put 15 guys on that side and say, block them. Like, you've got to figure out a way to fix the stupid mistakes. And I was one of the guys that said, make Hightower the interim head coach. Nope, not anymore. And I just read something already before we hopped on. They're going to find another scapegoat to help Eberflus keep his job. Special teams suck today. So guess who's going to be fired next?
I know. That's what drives me nuts.
Is Hightower. Are we going to be shocked if tomorrow or Tuesday Hightower's fired? That's going to be their scapegoat right there.
You see why I can't enjoy a game right now? Like, I can't just sit here and like think short term, like, oh, get the win today. It's like, no. Because what happens is it's a cascading thing. That's what kills me. It's a cascading thing that happens with this. We're not right now in a spot where it's like, well, we're fighting for a wild card. No, we're not. We're not fighting for a wild card. Sit down for a second, son. Let me tell you a tale. We are not fighting for a wild card. We are fighting to get good quality results from Caleb Williams and that offense to get it on track to see what happens next year. We are seeing, AKA basically wasting my time waiting for a man that should be fired by now to be fired by at the end of the season so we can restart a coaching search late again. I don't enjoy these things. I don't enjoy talking these things. I don't enjoy overanalyzing wins and losses and what it means in the grand scheme of how the McCaskies look at their organization. I don't enjoy this stuff.
No, nobody enjoys having a conversation of firing a head coach. Nobody likes it, but nobody likes these conversations. But McCaskey, again, do you like what's going on right now? Are you guys enjoying this up there in your suites and all this pile of money that sits behind you? Are you enjoying what's happening right now? Like, the fans are pissed. The fans are the reason why you have money. You need to, I don't understand what they think up there. Like, they want to look good. They want to have this persona. Your persona right now is that you are the fucking worst owners and presidents or whoever of this team right now. With the team, with the marketing, with the money, with the history, with the location, that should be a team with the roster that you have put in place to at least be competitive and then fight for your wild card spot. That was the expectation, not Super Bowl, not a playoff thing is locked, to get to fight for a wild card spot. And like I said, yes, maybe he should have been fired last year. I 100% agree with that. But we had to look at why maybe they kept him. The moment you saw something you didn't like, You should have said, okay, that's it. You had your chance. Go. And maybe it would be different. Maybe it wouldn't. Thomas Brown has, like, the first half struggled on offense, but a good offensive coordinator figures out what went wrong, talks to Caleb Williams, get his confidence back, and boom, 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 here we go, and starts to figure out and has a chess match. And Thomas Brown plays that chess match very well with Caleb Williams. He speaks the language. That was the only plus side. The offensive line looked a lot better in pass protection. They gave up 3 sacks. 1 or 2 came near the end of the game again. So that held up. The run game sucked. The run game was not even there.
No, it completely disappeared second half. They just leaned into Caleb chucking it for like 15, 20 yards, which was working today, by the way. Instead of lobbing it, he learned, hey, or he actually decided, you know what? Let me just use my cannon arm to speed pass or fastball pass into everyone's lap. And, maybe that's the play. Maybe that's the play right now is, play more like Cam Newton and less like Russell Wilson, if that makes sense.
But
like Cam Newton used to play bullet. He used to only throw bullets.
I saw a video of McCaskey at the tailgate. I would have punched him in the face. I would have walked up to him and just straight up punched him in the face. I
will say I don't know if I would go that far. I'm an angry fan, but
I would have done that or walked up to him and poured a beer on his shoes. And I've been like, what is, like, I'm done. It's done. Like, I'm not saying this roster is Super Bowl bound. I'm not saying this roster was going to make any noise in the playoffs. We knew it was a step-by-step process. When they tore the whole roster down and decided to build it back up, we are at that moment right now where it's okay. You sucked. You had a win streak at the end of the year last year. We've got a quarterback now that we can't afford to mess up. We have talented wide receivers, and it was proven today. Cole Kmet made big catches. DJ Moore had some big catches. Odunze had big catches, and Keenan Allen finally showed up. So you finally got all 4 of those guys involved. Finally, you should be competing for a wild card spot. That's what should have happened. You took the Vikings to the brim in the second half, like, with all the freaking mistakes. So just think about that, everybody. All the mistakes, the penalties, the special team stuff, the drop passes that we had, because we had some drop passes.
Mm-hmm.
You clean that up. We might have a blocked field goal. You don't block that field goal, we win 31-27 or whatever it was.
I mean, yeah, it would have happened is the thing. Also, good to see Sarah back. Appreciate you joining us once again.
Did you call OT? I don't think I did.
I don't remember you calling OT.
I think somebody in the chat did.
Maybe. I mean, it came to OT, but like here, it's funny because like my thing is, it kills me because like I'm watching this game, and of course it has to be Minnesota, the like cardiac kids of the NFC under Kevin McConnell, that if they aren't going to find a way to trail and come back, they're going to make it close because it just happens to go this way. Of course, got a double-digit lead. F it. Screw it. Let's have special teams completely collapse in the span of under 2 minutes.
Well, that's the other thing.
Flip an 11-point game. Like, great job, guys.
The Vikings tried to give it to the Bears because
every step of the way, not even that like part of the game. Like, you had the freaking fumble at the beginning of the game. You had one of the worst 4th and 1 calls I've seen in a long time. We were calling empty set against the Bears. The Bears are not good against the run, and you called an empty set.
And they got away from the run. They got away from the run. Sam Darnold threw it 34 times.
I mean, that's funny. That's funny. While Aaron Jones still ran 106 yards, it felt like they bailed on the run. Think about that. Somehow the man got a casual 106-yard game, and it felt like they didn't run enough.
The only thing they did good, and I got to find the stats, is, and it happened in the end of the game, and it happened in freaking overtime again. We could not stop them when it was in overtime. They were on their own 30. They false starts, and now it's 1st and 15, and they get like a 20-yard pass, 25-yard pass. We could not stop them on 3rd down. We could not stop them on long plays. And so our defensive back, yesterday, we both agreed that was the strength of our Bears. I'm not worried about the secondary. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about the run. It was flip-flopped, it seemed like, because they abandoned the run. So our D-line actually felt confident pushing their O-line backwards to try to collapse the pocket, and our secondary could not stop the big plays. when they needed to.
When they needed to, indeed.
And then Jefferson was held in check until overtime. He had a big-time catch, big yards. That was the time that they didn't do it. And then Jordan Anderson had 162 yards. 162.
Yeah, and it's funny because we talked about in our preview is like, okay, Chicago, because I'll be honest with you, recent matchups against Justin Jefferson, they've done a great job locking him down, whether it's Jalen Johnson, whoever they put on to double team him. So the question was, who steps up? Is Jordan Addison going to do it? Which, as you and I know, we talked about this. Jordan Addison gets slept on a lot. He's a really good receiver that is overshadowed by a elite top 3 option in that receiving core. And clearly that's what happened today. You sell out on one person. Jordan Addison gets whatever he wants. And then TJ Hawkinson also second half came to light and burned Chicago in a lot of key areas. Specifically that their final full drive where they get a field goal.
How, with this Bears secondary, how do you allow Sam Darnold to throw for over 300 yards? How do you allow Jordan Anderson to have 162?
That's what's crazier to me. I didn't think Sam would be anywhere near 300. I thought it was going to be hopefully 200 if he had it on the day.
How do you allow a tight end to get 114? Like, how does this happen? And thinking back, and I'd have to watch the film, and I don't know if I want to when it comes time when I get it. When it's first and 15, it's 3rd and 10, they would play coverage. They weren't sending pressure. Like, you want to send pressure. You want them to throw the short game. You want to tackle in front of them, but you allowed them to get behind you. You allowed them, like, what? That's Matt Eberflus coaching scared, worried about what could happen. Well, guess what? Every time you make that decision of what could happen, it happens to you anyway. Mm-hmm. And I said this yesterday. You should know in the back of your mind that your job is probably gone. Like, I don't care. I don't care what he says. He has to know in the back of his mind that he is coaching for his dear life right now. So guess what? You should just leave it all on the table. Screw it. Like Caleb Williams. How many throws did Caleb Williams throw in a tight window that could have been an interception? And it was Brent Favre-esque of like, screw it, I'm going to try it.
It was close, but, I will admit, they worked.
They worked. But guess what? Caleb Williams finally said, fuck it. He said it. He's like, done. I'm done. I'm going to show you how strong my arm is. I'm going to show you how accurate I am. I'm feeling confident. Thomas Brown is talking to me. He's telling me things that help me get ready. And everybody's feeling a little good right now on offense because we have more energy and we're trying. And he's just doing it. Why can't Matt Eberflus coach like that? And I think that was a difference with Thomas Brown from the second half to the first half. I think he kind of said that too, like, screw it. We're going after this in the second half. Like, done. That's a good coach, is to finally say that and understand what the situation is and say, screw it. I got this guy. We got to make a couple plays. Look at all these weapons. Screw it. We got to go. I wish the run game would have been there better, but they kept trying outside stuff. Swift is not a downhill runner. He was slow trying to cut the ball up. He's been disappointing. He had the big catch, but that's it. He's more of a slot receiver, speedy guy, like a jet sweep guy. Roschon Johnson is like your typical-esque running back. The O-line, I thought, pass protected pretty well. Caleb Williams made plays with his legs. Like, they finally just kind of said, screw it. I think everybody just said, screw it on
right. Well, everyone talks about this, like, play loose thing, let it rip, play loose, do your stuff, just go, and it's kind of what happened today. Basically, like you said, they just went, fuck it, just go, like, whatever at this point. If you can think you can fit into that window that you feel like you can target, do it. If you see that hole, the run in, and it's games on the line, you need it, do it. He had that little extra edge. Like I said, all my applause goes to that side of the ball today. It's the only one that deserves praise. The other two need to be ripped to pieces because I just can't believe it. One of them is the head coach's own responsibility, by the way.
And the only positive I am going to give, if there's a couple positive. Caleb Williams looks a lot better. He looks way better than he has.
Last 2 weeks has been upward momentum. That's all I want.
And all that stuff.
All we want,
I would say more often than not, we are having effort. More often than not. But the times we don't is when really bad things happen. I will say that. And I know that if we win, Matt Eberflus keeps his job. I got to say this. They did not give up. So I have to give that type of credit to the players. I'm not giving it to Matt Eberflus. This is
No,
not a Matt Eberflus
I
compliment.
want to be crystal clear. You should not be giving any credence to the man that is considered the head coach on this team.
No, this
In
goes to
my
the
honest
players.
opinion. And the thing is, I want people to understand that. Like, even if they would have won today, like, I still, like, as much as I have no faith in this, that would have been my one message. Don't stop keeping the message straight. The man that's sitting with the mic on his head on the sideline should not be here next year. I want wins, but I also want people to understand that the man there should not be there, because of what you bring him back again. We run through the same old song and dance again.
He should not be here by 10 p.m. Central Time tonight.
Yeah, I wish, but Thanksgiving would be the next possible chance if we're being realistic. Let's be fair.
But realistically, like, let him do the press conference. Let him do all that. By 10 p.m. tonight or 8 a.m. tomorrow Central Time, he should be gone. This should be done. And guess what? I'm done with Hightower too. Make Thomas Brown the head coach. Screw it. Why not?
I mean, he's been. It's funny you said have we talk about this, and the fact that one of his best traits is he is a form. I mean, he was the assistant to Sean McVay back in LA. It's not like he doesn't have that potential expertise. You know, seems like he has a better grasp on this team than the head coach right now.
And and every one of the players has nothing bad to say about him. Not one.
Mm-hmm.
Like Shea Waldron, they hint at it. You know what I mean?
Right.
The only thing that pissed me off about Thomas Brown is I felt like the play calls were getting in slow, like a little bit more slower than were.
You texted me it was the second half. It felt like they were getting in slower in particular. Yeah. Like they just were running out of gas. But this was before the Vikings decided to go, you know what, F it. Let's make this entertaining television.
And then like I said, this is going to be all over the place. What the fuck was Matt Eberflus doing when it was third down? They don't get it. It's fourth down. The field goal unit runs on. All of a sudden, they turn around and run off.
Don't even get me started. That was the stupidest sequence. And the thing is, they lost a timeout from a challenge earlier because of Jordan Addison with that catch on the sideline the drive prior.
Did you hear the reasoning that some stadiums don't have that camera, so they cannot use that?
It's up to the stadium, is it not? Is that what I understood? Like, it's a venue thing?
Yeah, it's a venue thing. So, like, some of the venues don't have that camera that points down like that. Chicago does, but since not everybody in the NFL has it, they can't use that camera.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So, like, so the one thing that makes us like the MLB happens to be the one thing that can screw people over or save plays.
So that's another head coaching blunder. Let me give you an example. Our head coach in high school, in that situation right there, it's third down. Our head coach would come over the thing and say, go for it on fourth down. I want you to be prepared if we don't get it. Our head coach is really good about that. And he is a high school head football coach. Matt Eberflus, you are an NFL head coach making 10 times more money than all of us high school guys. And our high school coach would have said over the headset, he would have said it to the OC or come up to me and say, hey, make sure he knows that we're going for it. Just the situation where we're going for it. And we've done that year in and year out. The only time our head coach will take an extra second or two is if it's a long, like if it's 3rd and 10 and whatever, he'll take an extra like 5 seconds to sit there and think about it. But we don't send people on the field. He'll get it done. Our head coach is really good about thinking about that stuff. Matt Eberflus, you're the head fucking coach of the Bears in the NFL. Like, that took way more time than it should have. You should have made that decision better. Like, what are you doing?
Like, just pick. I don't care which one you took there. Like, I was sitting here, I'm like, hey, you know what? You can go for the points. It's still, like, again, Minnesota at that point still was that was one of the stretches of the game. They were just choosing baffling things. Like, again, they had a freaking, this was right after they did a 4th and 1. Then they drive after they do 3 straight pass plays again against a weak Bears front 4. They're throwing 3 straight pass plays against a top 10 passing defense. Like, that's what I didn't understand. But then they found routes later in the game that were like these nice 15 to 20 yard cushions. And then, I don't know. I don't get it. Pick one. Just pick one. And it's not hard. Don't be undecisive there. You know,
I want to see the analytics for this next one. We score, and he wants to go for 2. If you just kick the field goal, you're down by 7.
Oh, are you talking about? I know what you're talking about.
All I heard was analytics says go for this. Even the announcers. I want to see the goddamn analytics.
You're talking when they were down 24-16 trying to go and get 18, right? Yeah, are we understand? Yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, what the hell? You don't need it right now. You don't need this right now. And they were going for it.
No,
Like,
so
why?
these are examples of why we need to get rid of him. And I want somebody out there that listens to send me the analytics. Send me the goddamn analytics. Because what analytics says when you're down by 8 in the third quarter, fourth quarter, whatever the hell it was, with time left, because you guys realize this, you don't get it. If you do get the ball back, you come down and score, you're down by, you have to then you're putting pressure on your guy, to your team, to go for 2 to tie it, or you lose the game.
I mean, they got it done, but still, it's like, what was the point there? It wasn't. It was silly. That's just the thing. I'm like, I don't understand what you're doing. I don't get it. Didn't get it, but whatever. Somehow it worked out to get to overtime. Just overtime didn't work out.
No, the Vikings did everything they could to lose that game.
They really did. That's what drives me nuts. And that's why, like, I'm doing that whole early bit, and why I, like, basically ranted at you before I came on about this, was like, anyone that knows football would tell you that Minnesota literally just let all the worst possible outcomes happen in a span of 1 minute, 57 seconds. Like, 11-point lead in less than 2 minutes evaporates. Any other team in the league that is like that decent caliber of record is not going to allow that. Only Minnesota, ladies and gentlemen. Only under Kevin McConnell. That is a Kevin McConnell thing, like textbook, I've noticed.
Yeah, this... I don't know what to say anymore. Like, you have the resume now, and the common denominator is one person. And with the season that is going on, there is nothing else to save. The only thing you have left to save is your pride and trying to do something for the fans that pay that ticket. Like, are you telling me I was going to pay $300 to go watch that? Like,
Woof.
Is that, you know what I mean? Like, to get 2 people there, let's just say 2 people's $300 to travel there. You know what a pain in the ass it is to get to that field, and you got to go through that. Then once you're finally there,
like, get the parking, or you ride the train, but wait a crazy amount of time.
Train
to get down there,
the bus to get there, the traffic, all that stuff. Like, that's what you want to do, McCaskey's. Like, that's what I don't understand. I don't understand it. We keep bringing up the Lions because they did it right. They finally said, let's rebuild this team. Let's bring a guy in that can help rebuild this team, because the fans, like, they deserve more than what has been going on. Like, we're tired of this. Think about the economy around the place. If we could become a competent team to create jobs, even, like, there's a big picture item here when a team is successful. And then, like, it just continues to grow from there. More merchandise gets sold. Then players actually want to come there, and it just continues to get better from there. Look at the Patriots and what they did for years. That's what it became. Look at the teams that do that. 49ers with Kyle Shanahan. That's what it became. Like, hey, let's get that. Do people not remember the 49ers did struggle for a little bit? Then they started to rebuild it. Jim Harbaugh, after he left, they kind of were in that mode, and then Kyle Shanahan comes in.
And remember Chip Kelly?
I
mean,
like,
oh boy, Jim Tom Sula was there for a minute, although he's doing great in Europe, but that's beside the point. Anyway,
like that type of stuff. McCaskey's, what the hell are you? I'm tired of repeating this every single week. I wish every week we had something different to talk about, but it comes down to 2 things.
I know.
Why is the head coach still there? McCaskey's, are you enjoying yourself? Like, are you really honestly
sitting in the press box watching fans get depressed every week? Is that like the typical NFL experience for like half the league?
Do you think they loved watching the fans leave in the fourth quarter before the onside kick and scoring even happened? Like, they showed videos of everybody leaving. I would have left. I was like, I'm done. I can't watch this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even, and like I said, blame does go on players as well. I don't want to throw that out the window. Players do have to execute.
Sure.
But what's been the common theme here with them not executing is the head coach.
Goes back to the coach. Yeah.
Like I said, you solved one problem. Now you got to solve the next one. You solved one problem. Thomas Brown, if he continues to call plays like this, even in losses, deserves an interview. Deserves an interview for an OC spot or the head coach spot. That's
I
what he
think
deserves.
he deserves at least, if the progress that is this keeps going, and we keep seeing it week in and week out, then yes, end of the year when Matty Eberflus should be fired, please just keep that energy going. Give him an interview. If anything, this is the perfect scenario to say which coordinator, if he keeps having success, do we keep? Do we pull Vic Fangio in 2018 and keep a coordinator on? My answer would say yes, but this is the NFL, so F me. I have no idea. But
Well,
look, that's my pitch is the
well,
deal.
whoever they hire, good hire, bad hire, when it's a new guy, he will bring in his own guys. So I guess I shouldn't have said allow him to interview for the OC spot, because whoever gets hired, they're going to figure out their own guys.
Well, that's the thing. I hope the resume shows at the end of the year.
Well, it also depends, because if you hire Ben Johnson or Cliff Kingsbury, they're going to call offense. So for Thomas Brown, they might sit there and say, hey, I want you to coach quarterbacks or wide receivers. He may not want that. He's going to probably move on and say, like, that's why he left Sean McVay, was because Sean McVay calls plays. Why am I here? Yes, I'm learning, but at some point I want to call plays. That's why he went to Carolina to try to get his feet wet. Now he's getting his feet wet again. Ben Johnson, I would assume, would come in and call plays, because he is quoted saying, I love to call plays. So he is quoted saying that. Cliff Kingsbury is quoted that, and Arizona calls plays. If they hire like a Mike Vrabel, then he might have the opportunity to interview. They hire who else did we? If they hire Kyle Shanahan,
Shanahan.
he won't have the opportunity. Kyle Shanahan calls the plays. If they hire somebody I don't even think about, he might have the opportunity to do that. And it sucks. So at whatever happens, he will probably be gone. And I wish he is showing me that he is good. Like especially the pressure he's under. He interviewed for the OC job, didn't get it, then gets it with like 3 or 4 days notice, and is showing that he's able to make the proper adjustments, showing that he's playing I know the first half wasn't great, but at the first I was really enjoying it, because you saw DJ Moore at running back. You saw somebody else over here. You saw somebody else over here. He was moving guys around, and I'm like, oh, so this playbook and the formations are going to continue to grow over these next few weeks.
It should. I mean, that's the thing. It should keep building up this way. It's funny. The offense reminds me a ton of, honestly, all the stuff I watched the LA Rams whenever I watched the Rams, and probably that influence, I would have to take a guess, is coming out of that way.
Right.
But I like what I'm seeing. Look, I've seen enough there. I feel confident that's going in the right direction, is all I can tell you. Hey, next week is against Detroit, which, hey, you know what? F it. Sky's the limit. They have some injuries on defense. We'll see what happens there.
People are telling me we might have a chance because they're so injured. I'm like,
yeah, but I'm saying F it in the sense of, I have no. What do you want me to say at this point? Like, the other side of the coin is the Bears defense looks so terrible against Sam Darnold. Imagine what the hell a competent Ben Johnson with, well, maybe one healthy running back. David Montgomery went out with injury today, but
oh no, that hurts my fantasy.
Yeah, no, just keep in mind he was out. But just imagine what happens when you have a competent OC like Ben Johnson with Jahmyr Gibbs back there and the weapons. Like, yes, you got to get pressure for Jared Goff, but keep in mind, to me, Goff and Darnold are a very similar breed of quarterback, and you got Jack on them this week. Even with Cam Robinson going down, limited pressure at best.
Third string left tackle,
right? Tell me. So is Detroit just going to do the same thing? Where are you, Montez Sweat? You got paid a lot of money to do what I consider very little that you're getting paid for.
Well, I'll tell you this, and we'll have our preview probably Wednesday morning. The Lions will not be as stupid as the Vikings were.
The Minnesota was so fucking dumb. This whole game made me angry watching the Vikings. If you're a Vikings fan, I don't know if Sarah's in the chat anymore because I know she is, but like, they were so idiotic. There were so many dumb things they did.
Hey, Zach, I got a text from Let's Skull. They invited to come on. We should just leave and go hop on there and just kind of like, what?
Right, like live now?
They're live right now and sent me the stream saying whenever.
Interesting. How do you want to approach this? Do you want to end and go right there, right away?
I don't know. I have theirs up. There's 6 people on there right now talking.
I mean, your call, buddy.
I don't know.
We are running in circles, so I don't mind it. We could send our audience to them if want to see the chaos.
Yeah, I don't know. Let me send this person a message. I said, I'm doing my own podcast.
Yeah, you do that. Let's keep talking. So, okay, enough coaching with that whole talk. Well, let's look at some other details from today that I think stick out to me very well. So, one thing, Keenan Allen, best day he's had all year, was electric for most of this contest. Actually, took a little bit for the others to get going, but Rome Odunze and DJ Moore were crucial later. So, props off to them. Bit of an ugly day for Cole Kmet, got to be honest with you, but
I mean,
it's kind of been a weird year for him all around.
Well, I do, but I was going to bring that up. This is kudos to Thomas Brown. DJ Moore 7 catches, Keenan Allen 9 catches, Cole Kmet 7 catches, Odunze 5 catches, DeAndre Swift 3 catches, 106 yards, 86 yards, 64 yards. Like Cole Kmet had more yards than Odunze. So I mean, but I should have known this was going to happen. I think I texted you like 2 plays later. The very first freaking play, great throw to Cole Kmet, great freaking throw. DeAndre Swift holds. And I'm like, I should have known. I should have known that this game should have gone the way the receivers showed up and balled out.
Yes.
We are the kings of screens. We're not the monsters of the midway. We're the monsters of screens.
I'll admit that there were screens that worked today, but it was a mixed bag. I still think the Bears use way too many of them in this offense. It's not as bad as what Waldron and Getsy were doing, but it still can get predictable if the ball doesn't come out fast enough. That's such a key part of this is Caleb has to, and I think they're finally like emphasizing that. It's like, dude, if we're going to call a screen, you need to like rip it. Like put that thing on a freaking rope as fast as you can because we don't have as good of blockers as we could. And we need time to get a tackle or so or a guard out there if we're going to pull someone for a screen like this, and they've kind of gotten onto that. At the beginning of the game, they ran a few of them where I'm like, typical, got blown up or it was too slow. But like second half, you saw it where a few of those like longer ones, 10 or 15 yards, rips out to Odunze or DJ Moore. DJ Moore touchdown was basically that. It was actually more a misdirection play. They had more guys on the strong side lined up. And they just threw it to the weak side basically to go and throw them off on the defensive end, overwhelmed Harrison Smith and company, and voila, touchdown. So if you have the right setup and you do the execution right, they work. I don't mind screens. I just don't like too many freaking screens. Know when to use them is my message. That's all I got to say. It doesn't have to be the play you got to run all the damn time.
What was I going to say?
We're looking for other play calls?
No, I was going to give credit to Caleb Williams. Like one of my buddies who's a Bears fan, and me and him are kind of like in sync. Like we did not like the draft of Justin Fields. We liked the Caleb Williams pick. We wanted Matt Eberflus fired. I said, what did I just watch? And he said, we finally watched a quarterback in Chicago have balls to do what he did in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So away from the coaching, Caleb Williams did show a lot of promise. And
it is 2 weeks in a row. He has led drives of some capacity where you should be walking away or hopefully looking to walk away from this,
Yes.
So I got to give kudos. The guy looks great. It's just like, it still is just not all functional everywhere else.
No. And I feel like we have the weakest part of our roster is still like D-line, besides Edmonds. I thought Edmonds at linebacker still does pretty well. He made some tips and plays. I would say D-line, O-line, and stuff like that is still our biggest question. But I do feel like we have a roster that should be competing for a wild card spot because of how the games have went. Because if you go back and think, and we said this every week, like I'm not saying we would beat the Texans, but we played really bad and it was a close game. The Colts gave that one away. The Commanders, the freaking Hail Mary away from doing that.
Yeah.
The Packers, blocked field goal. So, like, you right there, if you give us the Colts, the Commanders, and even the Packers, that's 3 extra wins right there. So now we're sitting at 7 wins. Like, the Arizona one, that's speculation. Well, if you don't lose to the Commanders, you might beat Arizona. I don't know. They really just came in and put their foot down. So I'll just say that's a loss. But I do think we have a roster that is still built with a rookie quarterback. Like, even then, we're still sitting there. So you'd have to sit there and go, that's what's frustrating. Not a Super Bowl team, not a clinch playoff team. Like, oh, like, yeah, give me the Colts win, Commanders win. Oh, Patriots.
And I don't know if you got the impression, but
I forgot about the Patriots. Like,
sorry, I blame ads. Yeah, that was dumb. The Pats game as well is another one.
So let's just say you give us 4 extra wins. Now we're sitting at 8 wins in the conversation for a wild card spot. Not clinching it, not that it's going to happen, but you are in now the conversation of it. And that's all I wanted this year. All this year, I just wanted to be in the conversation.
Exactly.
And then your hope next year is that Caleb Williams takes another step. You invest in the D-line, O-line, and all of a sudden, hopefully things start to click better. You keep the receivers around, obviously. Maybe get a different running back now, too. Like, I'm sitting here going, like, O-line, D-line. Then I know we're paying DeAndre Swift all this money. You got to find a running back that can really just be a running back. Like, that's the next step I keep thinking about.
Yeah.
Like,
can you imagine this? Think about this. I don't think they'll land it because there's much more important things. But I would. I'd love to have. Somehow we land Ashton Genty.
mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it'll happen. Probably won't. We don't really need him right now. You're paying Swift another 2 years on his contract, but I don't know. A man could dream. It's not what we need to invest in, by the way. I'll be the last one to tell you we need another running back at this moment in time.
No, but like the two
it's definitely the trenches.
The trenches, and then I think we just have to find. You have to get that running back that can kind of do both. Like, I love the athleticism of Swift. It's just putting your foot down and getting yards when needed.
Right. Not enough meat on the bone to do it, which Ashton is, like I said, I don't mean to lean back in, but like that is my like dream scenario. Like, he is that guy,
Right.
So,
well, these people have not responded, so we could just crash their party.
You want to crash the party?
We could crash the party. Because I think I feel better now just yelling. My wife, the other day when we were yelling, I went upstairs. My wife goes, when you get mad and yell in the basement, I can hear what's happening upstairs.
Oh, that's great.
And I was like, the Bears should piss me off then.
Oh my God. Well, look, tell you what, I'm actually would love to talk to these guys only because I do want to talk about see how much these people think they messed up on like some of these on just some of the stuff that happened today. I'm just done railing on the head coach. Like, that's the thing. Like, at this point, I feel bad because like we're just railing on the head coach at this point.
I just commented on. I'm not listening to their live one because obviously we would hear it. I just have it up.
Mm-hmm.
I commented on their live one saying this one hurt, and then I just put on there. Me and my co-host about to jump in, so I don't care anymore. Like, we're just gonna crash it.
Oh, let's do this. I think that's what we're gonna do.
Like, this is.
Oh man.
And we're going to have to unload even more when it comes to Wednesday because nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change.
Nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change. My dad actually just sent me a text here. And he's, like I said, he's in my wheelhouse. Clean house. But it's not going to happen yet.
No, it's not.
Not yet. That's not the Bears, people. Never has been, never will be.
No, it's not. And just, I don't know. I just don't know. I guess there's worse things. We could be a Carolina Panthers fan. We could be a Jaguars fan.
Carolina was one stop away from upsetting Kansas City today. Did you see this?
I did see that. I saw the
They
tweet.
came back and just had to get one stop. That was it.
Sounds like the Bears.
The funnier part is we're closer to the Panthers record than you think.
And Dallas beat Washington.
Also wild, by the way. That'll end sequence. The whole mixed extra point.
Tennessee beat Houston.
Massive.
Detroit had to scrape by on that one.
Yeah, Indianapolis has just been scrappy, so I wasn't surprised, but I was kind of shocked they didn't do more damage.
I'm excited. I won't be able to watch it tomorrow because I have a basketball game, but my Chargers will take on the Ravens tomorrow.
That'll be the Harbaugh Bowl will be fun.
So
that's a fun one.
I want to tell you how pissed off I was before overtime. I was going to run upstairs, put on my Chargers jersey for this.
Oh God!
But then when the game was over, I was so pissed off. I just ran down here and set it up. I was like, "Nope, done."
Yeah,
like I can't do it.
We needed to get in here as soon as that was done. And again, I hate texting you or my dad like when you're like, "Are you seeing this?" I'm like, "No." I'm such a broken fan, Steve. I really am.
Well,
I don't act like any fan you would imagine.
I think I was a play ahead of you or two, and normally I'm not. I have our streaming service is usually a play or two behind.
Mm-hmm.
But one of our friends is letting us use their YouTube TV to test it out to see if we want to buy it. And YouTube TV is like on point. Like I was never behind. So when I was texting you that, and you're like, "Wait, what?" You're like, "What are you talking about?" Like, did you not just watch that?
YouTube TV is great. I love YouTube TV. I used I have a stream that I have other places that is available. I don't think the NFL would like if they found it. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to spoil the fun.
No, but they know what happens. So that was the first time I was like, because usually Big Cat will tweet something, and I'm like, "What's he talking about?" Because I'm a play or two behind. Today I was on there like I'm up to date. Like
got it in sync.
Yeah. Oh my God, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people in there right now.
Oh my God. Are we going to join this madness?
That's up to you. You're the boss man. Do we want to?
Well, I'll tell you what. We made it. I think we made it a reasonably sized show for a post game.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But let's do this. Let's do this. I tell you what. If you're here and you want to follow along, what was it called? Skull?
Let's Skull.
Skull? SKOL?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to look this up and we'll jump on
momentarily. LET''S space SKOL.
Oh, yeah. I found their live stream right away. I'll tell you what. We'll meet you on the other side. I'm going to grab a drink because I need a drink for this. We'll jump in. I'll meet you on the other side. Just shoot me the link with it, okay?
Yep. Thanks, everybody, for watching. See you Wednesday.
Catch ya.